Yeah, when you see these Twitter announcements from these athletes in the transfer portal, they're usually very generic, above board, very classy, very nice.
Yeah.
I had an amazing time, amazing experience, everything.
Mm,
Every once in a while, you'll get a underhanded little dig in there
mm,
somewhere, just pointing to maybe some underutilization. And when
mm.
you mentioned that with Jaheim Bell, Satterfield's offense obviously dictated, where the ball was targeted. But at the same time, do you put that at Shane Beamer's feet?
Mm. You know, yes and no. I mean, listen, Shane Beamer defended his guy, Marcus Satterfield, right? Everything that happens on the football team is Shane Beamer's responsibility, right? If Jaheim Bell's not getting the ball enough, yeah, it was Marcus Satterfield's offense, and he's the one in charge of, orchestrating things behind closed doors. But Shane Beamer, he can make the adjustment. He's got as much say as anybody. Obviously, he's the head football coach. So, and I thought it was I thought what you saw at the end of the season, Mark, was them trying to kind of put a Band-Aid on the situation when they put him at running back, and they were basically just force-feeding him the football, right? They were making it a point of emphasis to get him the football. So, I think there was a multitude of reasons. I mean, listen, Jaheim Bell wasn't the only guy not touching it. Juice Wells was criminally underutilized. I mean, you see what he did the last 2 weeks of the season, and to think about that there were games he went without a catch. Crazy. It's criminal to think about. So, adjustments have been made. There's a reason why Marcus Satterfield is now at Nebraska, and Dowell Loggins now takes over as the offensive coordinator. And, of course, it will be his job, right, to get the hands on the playmakers. I mean, I think that was Gamecock fans, and my biggest gripe was just, it's one thing to play a team that has a really good defense like a Georgia, and they take away your weapons, right, and they make life hard on you. And you struggle and you sputter offensively. But when you're struggling and you're sputtering offensively and you're doing so against teams that they're okay on defense, they're not great, and your best players aren't touching it, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like that's an issue, right? That's just complete mismanagement of what you have. So everything Dowell Loggins and Shane Beamer said in his introductory presser, they checked off all the boxes. It sounded great. It sounded like, they addressed everything that was our concerns, and now we'll see what they do this fall. But, certainly, I mean, the responsibility has to fall at the feet of Shane Beamer. But I think that situation with Jaheim Bell was a multi-layered thing, and they did their best at the end of the season to salvage the situation. They even changed OCs. And, at the end of the day, I think it was an NIL impacted decision. And, you just hope these guys that leave for the bag, that leave for NIL, they find what they're looking for, and they make the best possible decision for them. Because for every guy that it works out for, Mark, there's probably about 10 or 15 or 20 or more that the decision kind of backfires. You know what I mean? And we're seeing a lot of guys hit the portal right now that, I don't know exactly what the statistics are, but guys at the portal that are not finding homes, right? And I think guys are going to learn that the grass maybe isn't always green on the other side. But again, I support transfer portal, NIL. I think players should be able to better their own situation. If they're, I'm someone, Mark, I was a college athlete after my junior year. I transferred, right? Granted, I was a D2 baseball player, but I transferred because I wasn't happy where I was. So I think guys should have the freedom to go where they want to go. And I think especially now, if you've worked really hard to build up a name, image, and likeness that is valuable, and somebody's willing to give you a certain amount of money, you should be able to take that money and profit off it. But what regulation should be in place? How can we regulate this? That is something, Mark, that unfortunately I do not have the answer to.